All right, welcome to the Friday Night Mix Show. This is Lami and Fola on the Friday Night Mix Show. It's so good to see you. Oh, look at your smile. Your smile is so
Oh,
nice.
yeah, I'm excited to be here. You know it.
Yeah, good. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being on the show, on the Friday Night Mix Show. And it's so good to have you. I mean, I remember speaking to you before I started this show in September, and we had a conversation. And finally, I can say you are with us on the Friday Night Mix Show. Usually, I would have something on the show to shake and welcome you to our tradition. But
Yeah.
sorry, while I was gisting with you before we started, I probably um, forgot to bring that downstairs. But I have a bell that usually would just jingle. Lami, it's good to see you. Can you introduce
I can
yourself?
I can feel like I can hear the imaginary jingling. Don't worry. I feel the vibes. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So we have people already watching on the stream. Please make sure you know how we do it now. Like the stream, share the stream, comment. We're gonna read your comments. We have so much lined up for you tonight on the stream. Make sure you drop a comment, whatever you want to add to the conversation we're having. But Lami, let's have you introduce yourself to us so people can know you.
Okay, my name is Lami, and I'm excited to be here with Fola today on the Friday Night Mix. I'm a lot of things, and you'll get to know me better on the show. But today I'm just going to be a co-host on this show, and I'm very excited to be here. And the topic is very relevant, and
Yep.
I'm sure a lot of people are talking about it. And I'm going to let Fola introduce the topic in a moment. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's nice. That's nice and short and precise. That kind of thing. I've always trusted it that you can do that. All right, so yeah, I mean, we get to talk a lot about all the stuff before we get into the topic, right? On the Friday night mix, like the name is, it's a mix of everything, but it's just where we chill and relax and sit back, and we're just there, and we're like talking about how our week went and what was the crazy thing that happened, what's in the news and stuff like that. So
Mm.
before I start with myself, tell us a little bit about how your week how was your week I mean being the new year, how was it this week for you? Was it crazy or was it easy?
Well, oof, I don't know. Would I call it crazy for like, I don't, I'm not sure I will, but yeah, it was luckily New Year's the holiday fell on a
Mm,
Monday, which meant Monday was not a work day. And
mm,
you know how it is. So we went out, hung out with I call them my community, my people, my support,
nice.
and we had a lot of fun. We had to leave early because we had to remind ourselves there was work on Tuesday. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, you better leave here early and prep. So it was really fun. Monday was
Mm,
fun. It was laid back. It was just hanging out, gisting, and then of course work started on Tuesday, and
mm.
work has been really busy because it was like the work was waiting for us.
As
So there was
usual.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as usual.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, my week was easy. I'm still on leave. Oh, my week rather.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
still on leave,
Wait to
so I'm
rub
just
that in. Okay. Okay. Okay.
yeah. So I was just chilling. I was just like laid back, just having fun, just like cleaning up stuff and just sending those emails to contact and getting to ask for more stuff to be done. All my design guys and all my editors and all of that. Speaking of design, Lami, there's this guy that I want to give a shout out to tonight.
Okay. Okay.
This this guy.
Hmm.
So this guy, you would know him. I call his name. His
Okay.
name is Olawale Adeyemo. Since we started
Oh,
this
okay.
show, since I started this Friday night mix, is always designed every single flyer, every single you know um, content. And this guy doesn't take a dime. I keep asking him, guy, how much should I pay? Like, no, this is I'm doing it for you. I'm doing it for your show, and it's so invested in this project. I mean, I was just speaking with my wife today, and we're like, you know what, we've got to do something, basically. But the first thing I want to do is to shout out to Olawale Adeyemo. Thank you so much. All the design you see, all of the since September that we started, it's been him. And I'm telling you, back in Nigeria, I know how much I pay guys who does all this for me, right? Even here, I know how much the payment, and it always comes through. So let me give a shout out to Adi Olawale Adiemo.
So, Olawale Adeyemo, on behalf of the team, we want to say thank you, thank you, thank you so much. We do not take your work for granted. I've seen your work and it's been impeccable, no doubt about it. And to hear that you don't take a dime, that is even more amazing. And I just trust that this work will continue to open up for you, and we
Yeah,
really, really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
yeah. All right. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into it. I mean, we talked about the. Is there anything in the news? Is there anything in the news that you want us to talk about before we?
Yes, there is one thing that I've been saying, and it's the no grief for anyone. I don't know if you're Nigerian. You would have seen, you would have seen the theme of the year. I don't think you can miss it on
You
any
can't miss
social
it.
media. You can't miss it. It's like no grief for anybody 2024. So
So basically, what that means is this year, don't allow anybody bamboozle you with big grammar or with stressing your life. This year, don't agree for somebody. I saw something online. Someone say, "How do you say don't agree for somebody in King James version?" Guess guess what I saw? The guy wrote, "You yield not." Because somebody was like, "Nice,
you thou not,
you down not." So and I've
or
seen so
thou
many.
shalt not yield.
Oh, that's not you. And I've seen so many memes around that too, just showing, how David was standing before Goliath, and like, I'm not going to accept that you, even though you're bigger than me, we'll tussle this thing out, and
Like,
we will
no.
we will fight it out. All right, so let us know your own idea in the comment section. Just let us know what is your, well, will we say New Year resolution now, because that's what everybody is doing. Everybody's doing. I no go agree. We no agree for anybody. Let's
No
let's
grief.
read the comment. So Uluwayomi Atolo says, "Welcome, Lami." That's
Thank you.
the Indian people are welcoming you to the fold.
Thank
And
you.
she also said, "No grief for anybody is in the news." Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. No grief for anybody is in the news. Thank you to Olawale Adeyemo. God bless you, bro. Yes, for sure. Oh, we do have one. Um, Ty Sack says, "Uncle Fola, you're doing well, sir. Thank you so much." Ty is a very good friend of mine. No grief for anybody this year. I mean, that's what's raining, right? That's what everybody's saying. But we'll talk a little bit about it before we go into the New Year resolution, right? And then Rosaline saying, "Consent thou not."
I like that.
Like,
Thou
consent
shalt not
thou not.
consent.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it comes from the place of, people just allowing things to go, maybe other people's way, and then it's not favoring you, but you're just like, what can we do
Mm,
this year? People are like saying, no, no, I have to stand up for my rights, stand up for myself,
absolutely.
and not
Absolutely.
allow things to just pass by. But what exactly would be the end game for, I mean, because I hear this as Christians, for me, I'm thinking every obstacle on my way, I don't agree.
Mm,
That is
mm.
what I feel like. Everything for every time I hear that little voice telling me, you cannot achieve this thing, this thing cannot be achieved, I'm saying, aha, no, I no go agree. That is when I want to put in more effort and say, you know what, I no go agree, right? What is your own thought about, this what is raining right now? I no go agree for anybody.
Somebody even went ahead to back it up with a Bible passage, and it was the story of the blind man in the Bible when Jesus was walking past, and the guy kept yelling, like, "Son of David,
Mm,
have mercy on me."
mm.
And then we're like, "Keep quiet. What do you mean? What are you
Oh,
talking
that's
about?"
up.
Something
Yeah,
like that.
disturb our
But I
peace
shut up,
here.
And then, that particular the record has it that, he yelled even louder, which is,
Mm.
interestingly, he was
You
not
don't
grieving for
grieve for
anybody.
anybody.
Do you understand? So, yeah. So, and he got what he wanted. Why?
Mm,
Because he kept at it, right? And
mm,
yes, there are a lot of times that, and it's just an indication that we would have naysayers, we would have people tell us we can't do it. People who even who know us, who are supposed
mm,
to support us, might be the
mm,
people who would tell you, or people who don't know us at all. I don't know what the situation is, but the point is, as long as you're convinced, the guy knew, he knew that the person passing by could help him. He had
mm,
heard news about him,
mm.
and he knew that this guy was the help I needed. And then people were telling him to keep quiet. What do you mean I should keep quiet? I will not be keeping quiet.
What do you mean I
I
should
will
keep
not.
short? What do you mean by I should keep short? I'm
I
not going
cannot
to
keep
keep
short
short.
for you. Do you
I
understand?
would
No,
not
so
keep short.
so
Absolutely. I mean, that's a very good story because really, to be honest, you would look at our circumstances and you feel like this crowd,
mm,
there's Jesus.
mm-hmm,
And this is a man that is just there. He can't move.
mm-hmm,
Right? He has disabilities,
mm-hmm,
that's restricting him from getting to
mm-hmm.
his goals. But what he had that nobody could take away from him was his voice.
I love that. I love
And that's
it.
powerful because a lot of
I love
time
that.
we use our voices to turn down the opportunities that we should have. Our
Mm,
voices in our mind is saying, "Oh no, I could never take that role. They could never
mm,
employ me in
mm,
that role." You're saying that to yourself,
mm-hmm,
right? And you're using your voice that you have,
mm-hmm,
to create the barrier for yourself. And people will say, "Well, but if the person cannot achieve it, the person cannot achieve it now. Maybe the person knows that I just can't achieve it." But that's not the point. The point is the mental block
mm.
is the beginning of you not achieving your aim in life.
Right,
And I've
right,
always said
right,
it everywhere I
right.
go to, the things I've achieved today is basically because I just never had a restriction. I never restricted myself.
Mm,
Despite the fact that my background is so, you know, I mean, my dad did very well before he grew
mm,
old and, he couldn't work anymore. And then
mm,
we went from middle class to lower class. But,
mm,
I just never believed that there was anything that could restrict me from achieving anything I wanted to achieve. And that was just me. And people would look at me. There was a day, I always tell this story. There was a day a girl called me in church, 2007, and said, Fola, every time we say we want to buy clothes or do something in the choir, I mean, it's choir,
mm,
you never seem to pay. But when you come to church, the way you walk, people will think you are the owner of this church. And the way you talk, people will think yeah, people will actually think, this guy must be very powerful in this space. And I said, yes, that because you see me now that I don't have the material things that people would think, oh, this guy is rich, or he has a car, oh, he doesn't have a car. That is not the restriction for me. It's a function of paper.
mm,
What I carry inside, the possibility I carry inside is not restricted by material things that I don't have right now. So it doesn't bother me. Does it bother me that, oh, my friends are driving a car, I'm not driving a car? No, it doesn't really bother me because that's not the way I see life. What really matters to me is the value I want to create. They're the things that I want to do in life, the things I want to achieve. And once I set my mind on it,
mm,
nothing is stopping me. Nothing really is stopping me. Except I'm not ready. And I could
mm,
be a good procrastinator to some time. I just tend to like, I don't want. But it's not because I'm scared. I'm never scared. You know. And I always tell people, and that's the story, going back to the story of the Bible. The guy was not scared. As a matter of fact, people told him, my friend, keep short.
mm,
You're disturbing our peace here. You, this poor man, look at you, and people tend to do that a lot. What
mm.
is wrong with this one? Where did you come from? Who are you? People that are working in XYZ company self they will not say they can. They are not going to say, look at this one. Okay, let him just shout. But this year, no grief for anybody.
At all. Mm-mm, mm-mm,
Anything you want to achieve,
mhm.
anything you set your mind on, just make sure that you are there and you are shouting and you are making noise. Let them try to stop you. Let them try to keep you quiet. Don't agree for anybody this year. Let's see what somebody said. Yomi said, seest anyone who tries to chance it thou, doest not agree. Hey, this one heavy. You get so that story is very relevant. I like that story because listen, the man's faith. his blessing was on the tip
Mm.
of his lip, and nobody was going to stop him. And
Mm.
he shouted, and he said, "Thou son, Jesus, thou son of David, bless me. Jesus, thou son of David, bless me." And
Mm.
Jesus himself had to like, you know what? This guy shout. And I could
Mm.
imagine the crowd is moving. There's going to
Mhm,
be
mhm,
noise, chattering, and all of that. But the guy made sure that he increased his voice higher. And what happened? Jesus stopped. I'm sure walked back because Jesus must have passed now.
mhm,
Walked
mhm,
back
mhm,
and
mhm.
gave him his blessing, and he left. So this year, everybody listening to this podcast, if you want to start a small business, if you want to get that job, if you want to get married, whatever you want to do this year that you've been restricting yourself. I know a lot of people
Mm.
that said, I wish I can start that business. Oh,
Mm.
I wish I can start that business. I wish I can start that business. And they've still not started. Maybe it's money. Maybe it is, pressure. It could be anything. Oh. I'm not saying,
Right, right,
and those things are real. Don't
right,
get me wrong.
right, right.
You need to plan. You need to look at the risk assessment and all of that. That's fine. But let me give you a gist. When I started this podcast, started, I just started. It wasn't like I had experience before. Now I have experience. I've done it since September, and I've done it at least 3 times every month. Right?
Mm.
People are calling me now. I've had more than 3 or 4 calls. People telling me, "I like what you do. Can you train me on how I can go about it? What can I do? How should I?" Da 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 da. Like now, you're becoming a you know
Subject matter expert.
SME. Did you know I just learned that SME today? I used to think SME is small, medium
You know,
enterprise.
enterprise, right?
I
It
used to
can
think
be
that was what it
anything
was.
you want it to mean, right? Eh?
Someone just said it today in meeting, like SME. I said, in my mind, I'm like, how is SME relating
Relevant to this
to
conversation.
what we are saying? Yes, yeah, what do you think SME? I said, it's not small, medium, and small and medium enterprise. Small and medium enterprise, go large and big. So and that's it. Let's see what somebody said. Please keep dropping your comments. We would read it on the stream. Jesus, thou son of David, have mercy on me. This 2024, yes,
Amen.
that
Amen.
is a big amen. We're saying a big amen to that,
Amen.
but
Amen.
you're taking that step. Your
That's
faith
right.
has to
That's
be
right.
mixed with work, and taking, breaking boundaries. That fear, just start.
Fola, it buttress something comes to mind when we were talking, and it's
Mm.
a quote by Henry Ford. It was ascribed to Henry Ford as having said that whether you think you can or you can't, you're right.
Mm. Mm.
And it's amazing because everything starts in the mind. I mean, so everything starts in the mind. Winning starts in the mind. If you've ever watched wrestling matches or any kind of contact sports, you
Mm.
see the people, they come when in wrestling, especially, you see a guy go and threaten another guy and say, I will beat you, I will do
Yeah,
this, you
yeah.
know and in his mind he's already winning. I mean, sometimes you see
Mm.
a David going to a Goliath and saying, you might have
Finish
swords, you
you.
might have experience, you might have this, you might have that,
Mm.
but I come to you
Mm.
in the name of God. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
for sure.
the winning starts from the mind,
Mm.
and that's really amazing what you've
It is.
said about people taking whatever chances that they have. And I liked also what you said about the man, and I never looked at it from that perspective where you talked about what he had. I never even painted a picture of the
Mm.
man being blind, meaning that he was immobile, meaning that the only thing he had was his voice. And he was willing to use that. And I remember that one of the people I respect, I think it was my pastor, who said that God would always use what you have,
He
even
will.
even in the midst of the things you seemingly do not have. So he didn't have his legs to walk up to Jesus, but he had a voice,
He had a voice.
right? Right. And then I think he painted another picture one time where at a beautiful gate there were these guys. There was
Mm.
this blind, what do you call it now?
The
No,
blind beggars.
blind Bartimaeus, right?
The
No,
blind
it
beggars.
wasn't blind. I think it was it lame, or what was it? I think it was by
When
the
Peter,
beautiful gate.
yeah, when Peter, yeah, it was lame.
Yeah,
It was lame.
it was lame, eh?
It was
And then
lame.
the guy,
He says,
and then
Silver
he
and gold
lifted him
have
with
I
his
not.
hand.
Yeah, silver
Yeah,
and gold have
remember
I
it?
not. But in the name of
Ex-
Jesus, rise up and walk.
Exactly. You get it. And I liked how he used the analogy and he said, look, he used what he had. His hands were working. They used his hands that were working to lift him to help the leg that wasn't working. So there is
Mhm.
something working in your life right
That's right.
now. There is something you don't have money, but you have resources. I've learned that there's a difference between resources and resourcefulness. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
mm.
So you have resources, is the money, the time, this resourcefulness. You don't have the money, but
You
you know
don't have
people
any,
who have
but
the
you're able to
money.
source.
Do you
Mm,
understand what I'm saying?
mm,
So get
mm.
resourceful, get creative. Like this year, no grief for
No grief
anybody.
for anybody. No grief. No grief for money. If money no day, this year, no grief.
Mm-mm,
That money
mm-mm,
will come out.
mm-mm.
Talking about having, I mean, this has always been my mantra, right? Moses was with God, and he said, "You're going to lead my people out of Egypt." I don't have
Right.
anything. So what
Mm-hmm,
do you mean I don't have anything? What do you have with you? I said, I don't have anything. I only have stick. Oh God, drop your stick. Stick.
mm-hmm,
Inanimate thing.
mm-hmm.
I mean, we're even talking about voice now. We're talking about
Right,
hand now,
right,
right?
right.
This stick that is inanimate, that
Mm-hmm,
is not supposed to function at all, that would see as useless because
mm-hmm,
he was a shepherd, right? He would always use. It's not like he needed a stick to walk. He actually just
mm-hmm.
needed a stick to herd to direct
Yeah,
the sheep and all of that,
yeah,
and
yeah.
them.
True, true.
That's all. But that stick wrought miracle. Not even when he was going to lead the children out of Egypt. It actually wrought miracle even after they have left Egypt, and even in fact that stick was with Moses till he died. And that's the very that's a very
Nicely
important thing
done.
for me. I mean, that story when my pastor preached it years ago, it never left me because I just knew that for me, I
Mm,
never complained. People will complain, oh, I want to start a business, but that business will cost me $10,000 and I don't have money. Me, madam knows me. I don't have time. There's nothing like I don't have money. Except I don't want to do it. Except I don't want to. There's nothing like I don't have money. And the funny thing about life that I've found out, my
mm,
first concert I did in Nigeria, that was 2010 or thereabout.
mm,
I mean, I just finished university. I was there, no work, and I
mm.
want concert. And this concert will cost me, church alone were asking me for 25,000 naira in 2010 to buy diesel. And I went ahead. I just printed the date, invited my friends that were all singers. I said, this is the date. Lami, you won't believe it. A day before my concert, people started calling me and were giving me money. I did even my church was saying, Fola, you have not paid, we will not give you diesel, we will not on gen, no. Of which they will on gen. It's just, but I had confidence in that level. But trust me, everything was sorted the night before. What about my wedding? My marriage? When I was working, I was earning 63,000 naira. I can never forget. 2000.
Remember your salary? Okay.
In fact, I've even talking. When I went on a trip, BC trip recently, I mean, with my friend.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was even saying I have 63,000 naira. They say, look at this one. You even see our money. I One person say he had 8,000 naira in his account. Another person say he had no money in his account. And this is, you see, this is the trick the devil would always use to
Mm.
make us never make that move. I had 63,000 naira. I want to marry. I want to marry a banker that is making money. But things just started for my uncle in my village is a big boy. Just bought two cows. This one brought this one brought that one. My boss in the office gave me 30,000. People, that was it. And would you always will you always get those resources if you put your foot forward? Yes, because I've
Absolutely.
tried it over and over and over
That's
again,
right.
and it
That's
has
right.
always worked.
That's right.
Because people just don't want to see you fail.
Mm.
Or if you're not trying, then you're not people are not going to give you anything.
Mm-hmm.
The resources won't come. That's just the
Mm.
simple truth, right? It won't come. But when you take that first step and it looks as if you're almost going to fail, hey, I've seen this thing several times. And
Yeah.
that's where sometimes when people say things like, we have to look at our budget, we have to
Mm.
be sure that listen, for me, I just smile. And when I come from my own angle, like maybe it's because you have never, that's why you're talking like that. And I just smile. But I'm talking from personal experience. Not once, not twice,
You've
not three
seen it
times.
happen over
The
and over
major
again
project,
where you just,
yes, the major
yeah,
project I've taken, the major steps I've taken in my life, it's not because I had money somewhere. It's simply because I had faith that the moment this thing is going to happen, 1 minute before that thing, the resources will come.
that's right.
Lami, I've never failed though.
Mm,
In fact, my last birthday that I was going to do, that I did the project, that I rented a space, I was going to be a praise this thing. The devil raised his head, sound didn't come on. We're supposed to start by 4. By 3:30, sound was not working. I say, like, this one is me and God. We have already agreed this one. I
mm,
called Tunde. Tunde came. Boom, 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 everything bar. 20 minutes to the event, or 10 minutes or 15 minutes. That was when sound came on. And
mm.
what that means is we have to quickly do sound check and da, 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 da. Today, the album, the songs they are out. I've edited, I've done everything. So I look back. So when people say things like, but you still have to look at this, we cannot just jump. We have to, I'm like, okay, yeah. Maybe I don't have sense. But me, as long as
What
I
how
know
has the sense help you? Do you understand? Do you understand? You have sense, you did not do it. Somebody else
yeah,
does not have sense, but is doing it. Who your sense help? Do you
and then you'll be
understand?
procrastinating. Before you know it, 2 years, 3 years. Before you know it, you're
Analysis
not grandma,
paralysis.
you're not grandpa. This year, no agree. If you have to go back to school, go back to school. If
Right,
you have
right.
if you have to check say, if you have to
Hmm,
owe to make your life better, to go back to school, to learn that trade,
hmm,
eh, do it. Do it. Don't grieve for yourself.
hmm.
That's another one. They say don't grieve.
Permit yourself. Permit
Mm,
yourself. It's one of the things that I've seen. Sometimes we're waiting on permission from people. We have this idea and we run it by people and we don't get the kind of enthusiasm that we think they should give, and then we think, oh, maybe it's not such a good idea.
that's
But
true.
who got the idea? Who got it? Who did God
Mm,
drop it in their heart? You know what I mean?
yeah,
So even if you don't get the permission from other people, permit yourself. It's your world, it's your life, it's your dream.
that's true.
Nobody can see it as clearly as
Mm,
you, right?
mm, mm,
Um, I remember another part of the Bible where the same men, and I always find this story very interesting, and it's the fact
mm.
that um, David and his men went to fight. They didn't go to play, they went to fight. But while they were away, the enemies came and took their families and their resources and their, all their stuff and took it away. And the same men, and one thing I find really amazing, especially when you watch all this army or what do you call it, all these war movies
War
or
movies.
all this kind of thing, you see the camaraderie that they have, you see the brotherhood, you see the fact that they can die for each other.
Yeah.
These
Mhm.
were the same guys that when David just had an idea that he wanted to drink one particular water that was from one well that it was dangerous to get,
I
they
remember that
went in
story.
the middle of the night to go and get it.
Mm,
These same men, now I don't know the order of the story, whether it was before or after, but I'm just saying that this were the same men who would
mm,
literally do anything for
that's right.
David, right? And when
Mm,
they saw that, what did they do? They turned against him and they planned in their heart to stone him.
mm.
They stole they stole his wife too. It's not like where they left his own wife, but Jonathan, they
I see
stole his
all
wife.
our wives, though, but
They
it's
say,
me
oh, my
now.
wife too is not there. Me too, and wife left, oh, but they wanted to stone him. I found it
Mm,
very interesting. But
mm,
guess what? He encouraged himself. There would be times in
mm,
2024.
mm.
Yes, community is good. Seek it. The gift of people, we can't stop talking about it. But when the time comes and you don't
Mm.
have that and you are alone with God, you're never really alone.
Yeah.
But you encourage yourself
Mm. And
because
David
just like
encouraged
that
himself in the
man,
Lord.
mhm,
Mm,
just
mm.
like that man, because we didn't finish the story of the blind man. Because when Jesus healed him, guess what? The same set of people that were saying keep quiet were saying, oh, like the come, be of good cheer, he call it D. What do you mean by he call me?
He connect thee.
What do
Hey.
you mean by that? Are you joking? Are you kidding me right now? So you will find that sometimes it's easier to cheer somebody who is already doing it than somebody who hasn't started. So you might
Absolutely.
not get the kind of cheer and the claps and the stuff that you want,
Mm-hmm.
but if you keep going, just like you
Mm,
said, Fola,
mm,
your 40th birthday plan worked out, the wedding worked out. You talked about, you know, all the plans you've had in your
mm,
life that has worked out,
mm. Mm,
just because you kept moving.
yeah. Keep moving. On
Go ahead.
that note, let's see. People have been dropping comments. Rosalind said you are now a consultant. I think this was concerning people calling me to find out more about
Right, right.
streaming live and all of that. And as she said, make that move now. Rosalind Onyi Ositadima. Just so you know, Rosalind used to be in my we used to be in the same choir in Nigeria. And the story about my first concert, Rosalind was part of people who actually even gave me money. I said, Fola, your concert is next week. Oh. What are we going to do now? This woman, if you have her in a space, just know that you have something solid.
Hmm.
She's now in Canada with the children and the husband. But I told her, I begged her, oh, begged her, come to Calgary. Nah, lie. Rosalie, where are you now? Tell us. Put it in the comment section. I'm still angry with you. You and Oga, you went to live in Manitoba. Where did you go to? Don't worry. We'll fight our fight later. Omotaya Grace Ayaoba says faith.
Hmm.
Faith. Faith. And it's true. Faith without work is dead, like the Bible says. And she also said, with faith, all things are possible. And Pastor Mrs. Adediwura Fajemirokun Odiase. Hey, I was in that church this December. That church is so much vibe. We're just singing and enjoying ourselves and having fun. That's Pastor Greg's wife. Thank you so much for joining the show. Says we need to take a leap of faith. You love it. Love the show. Keep dropping your chat. Make sure you share. Also share the stream. Let more people join. Let's have more. I mean, Friday Night Mix is a Christian community where we get to have this conversation, and then we get to read all of your comment. Also, if you have questions for us, also don't hesitate to drop it in the comment section. We will read it, and we would answer you. All right. So, I mean, what can we say? We've given you the ammunition for this year. Do
Hmm.
not agree for
For
anybody.
anybody. Great thou not.
Great thou not for any soul. Achieve what you have to achieve this year. So let's get into the conversation for today, which is still this, which is it's still in the it's like a
It's
segue,
all right.
right? New Year resolution. Me, I stopped having New Year resolution. I think there was a message uh, Pastor Kayode preached. Is it Pastor Kayode? Hey, I forgot his name now. I'll remember, Sha, in the course of this. He preached about New Year resolution. That was when I stopped because I mean, you get into the New Year like, okay, this year I'm going to do this and this and this and this and that, and you find out at the end of the year or even whatever in the middle of the year you've not even, and then you beat yourself, right, which is the annoying part. And
Yeah, true.
some of the things that we get to even say want to do might actually not even be in your power to achieve them.
Hmm.
Or I mean, stuff like I want to stop smoking. As it sounds easy, it's not that easy
Of course.
because it has to
Habits.
take a lot of willpower, right? Stuff like
Mm-hmm.
I'll stop drinking. Stuff like, okay, this year I want to be, but there are things that we don't actually, the way we plan it should actually be incremental, little,
Mm.
very little steps,
Yeah.
and then you're very committed to those little steps daily. But before we get deep into it, what are your thoughts about New Year resolution?
New Year resolution I hear is as old as old, if you
Yeah,
will.
agree.
They call it the fresh start effect. I think a set of scientists coined it to mean there's just this idea of fresh. And I tell you what, the moment we crossed into the year, as Christians, we do
The
all
prayers,
the
the
traditional
affirmation.
dance and into the new year and all of that, praying into the new year and all that fun stuff. And I really did feel, for some reason, I guess 2023 was one of those years. It was one of those really interesting years. It had its tough times, it had its ups, it had its downs. I really wanted to be out of it. I really wanted it to be over. I wanted
Last year,
something
right?
different. Like,
Mm,
please be done with.
mm,
you know, um, so I guess the idea
mm,
that I was in 2020, 2024, a new year, it felt good. It felt like a clean slate. It felt like I got to start again. It's
mm,
the same me in the same year, but I just feel like, okay, I did some things right last year. I did some things wrong.
mm,
But this year, I get to take all those things I did wrong and turn them around,
mm,
get those things that I did right and scale up. So there was just that sense of newness. So it's not just us. It's as old as old, like I
Mm.
said. So it's that fresh start effect. It's that, like, okay. And it's not just about New Year's. New Year's is just the bigger part of it. You feel it every new day. It's
True.
just not as big. It scales up every new week, every new month, which is why some people even say Happy New Month. But the
Yeah.
biggest shift for you is usually the year, because it's the
Yeah.
it's the biggest 365 days of newness. Like, yes, So it's an amazing thing. There's nothing wrong with that feeling. I think it's a good place,
Mm.
to give you, because it starts sometimes with a lot of hope, because you find yourself that when you're in December of the year, you start to think about,
About.
take a shot of your year, and you begin to wonder, did I do it, did I not do it, and all of that.
Mm.
But what we're going to have to learn is that rather than look at it with regret, we want to say, okay, what can I learn from it?
Mm.
And then
Mm.
take those learnings, take it into the new year. There's nothing wrong with this, that new effect, that fresh start effect, because it's
Mm.
good. Um, but it's then what we do with it that really then becomes the major part of it, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So what I was able to get online when I was researching. I mean, we it's a conversation that's easy to have,
Mm,
but it says a New Year resolution, like just having to actually even have that word coined or that phrase coined is common in the Western world, where they're like, okay, this is a new year, this is what we want to achieve, and but it said it's also found in the Eastern world, in
yeah.
which a person resolves to continue good practices,
Mm,
change an undesired trait or behavior, accomplish a personal goal, or otherwise improve their behavior at the beginning of a calendar year. Right? It's a promise that you make to yourself to start doing
mhm,
something good or to stop doing something bad on the first day of the year. Right. So you
mm,
have what things like, have you made your New Year resolution? Yes, I'm going to eat more healthy this year and give up smoking. That's fantastic, right? So that being said, what are the realistic things that you would suggest that people can have as a resolution for the new year? What are the things that you think people can start to change or start
yeah,
to?
but thank you for the question. So there was a meme I saw, I think it was last year, and it was at the beginning of the year last year too. And it was, I don't know if you've seen this girl, I forget her name. She's a foreign actor, she's an American actor. She did all this, it eludes me now. But anyway, the meme was about somebody asked, how is your New Year's resolution coming along? And she has this angry look on her face and say, it's already gone down the drain.
It's gone
Like,
down the
it was like
drain.
the fifth of the year was like, okay, he's already gone down the drain. Like, I just made it 5 days ago, but he's already gone down the drain. So
Mm, mm.
that's the thing, right? Resolution is probably, I think, is from the word resolve. You resolve to do
To-
this,
mm,
and that's a good place. It's like a promise, like you said, that you make to yourself, and that's a good start. Only that it might not be enough,
mhm,
because there's a thing about habits. So you see, our brain. Okay, I didn't really say too much about myself earlier, but yes, I teach emotional intelligence. So we understand the place of habits. So the brain is wired in such a way that there's something called autopilot. Because if you have to think about all the actions that you take, your brain will be overwhelmed. It will be in
it will
overdrive.
blow away.
It will just blow. It will just blow. It will off.
It will
you
off.
know. But so a lot of things then become subconscious. You
Mm.
know, autopilot, so that your life is easier. It's the reason why you can probably drive from church that you've done so often to
Let,
your
let me
house.
let me
Yeah,
let
go
me
on,
give you
please.
a gist. So
Sure.
you know that this thing you say is so true. I was
Mm-hmm,
driving
mm-hmm,
one day,
mm-hmm,
but the route was like the route to the place I usually go to. Like I think it was church.
mm-hmm.
Do you know? And I was going somewhere else,
Uh-huh.
and I subconsciously just drove towards church, and I was already like, and then my brain like guy, where are you going to? But I drove towards church, and I had like, oh, sorry, I'm supposed to go to this other place, but because that route was so similar to where, and it was
Exactly.
Sunday or something, it was like that typical day. So it's true, your brain, It's so wired in such a way that, once you have presets,
Habits, routine,
you have a
yeah.
routine, you have habits. And that's why it's tough to actually break it if you're doing a New Year. If you say you want to do a New Year resolution, so you smoke 3 cigarettes every day, and then you just want to break it like that, that might not work. Maybe you should reduce it to one. Pastor Bola will always say, maybe reduce it to one. Make it itinerary. Make it very,
Mhm.
But continue what you're saying. I just had to, because I remember that might drive. Like, how did I find myself here?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was almost like, I didn't even remember driving towards that place, but of
Mm.
course, because my brain was wired in that way already, and that was all right. Please continue. Sorry, I told you I'll be.
Oh, no, 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 no. It's beautiful because it actually buttresses my point. I like
Mm,
that you gave a real life example of something that happened to you because it buttresses my point, which is the fact that our brain is wired like that. And it's supposed to be for ease. A lot of the things that we have is supposed to be for ease. You don't have to
mm,
think about brushing your teeth. Do I go up or down? Right. I mean, who has time for that? Do you understand what I'm saying?
true.
How do I take my bath? Do you understand what I'm saying? All those things. How do I log into my it's like sometimes, I remember there was a time I needed to plug in. Somebody was asking me today. I think I needed to put in my phone number that I use at work somewhere, but I type it often. If you ask me, I might not remember the
Mm,
actual number, but I know the digits that I type on my phone. Why? It's all autopilot. So that's why it
mm,
can be harder because it's a habit you're trying to break.
true.
So that's why people say, okay, good. New Year resolutions are good because you look at yourself at the beginning of the year and say, this is who I want to be
Be.
at the end of the year. That's good. But that's a start. It doesn't end there.
Mm,
Then you have to then set goals.
true.
What do I need to do? What steps do I need to take to become that person that I want to see come year's end? You know what I mean? So
True.
that's where smart goals come into play. That's
Smart
where you
goals.
get exactly. You want
Mm.
to make them specific. I want to stop drinking. What does that mean, Gunga? Let
Gangan.
us know.
Gangan.
Jonathan,
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan, what does that mean? What does that mean in actual fact? You
Mm.
know, make it specific. You
Specific.
said something about smoking 3 sticks of cigarette. You look at yourself and say, by the end of the year, I want to stop smoking. Okay, good.
Okay.
What does that mean for you? Does that mean okay?
Mm.
I smoke 2 or 3 sticks.
Tax.
That means I will reduce it
Yeah.
every month. I reduce it by one, or I will smoke a pack or something. Something
Mm,
that is because we've moved from specific. I want to stop smoking as at December.
mm,
Then you are beginning to put a time to it,
mhm,
right? And then we talk about this the specific. I want to stop smoking. That's good. That's the goal. Okay, what is the M? Measurable. I want to stop smoking 5 sticks of cigarette a day. You want to measure it so that
mm,
when you look at it by the end of the year, if you've stopped smoking, let's say you say, oh, I've stopped smoking 2 sticks, or I'm not smoking 2 sticks of cigarettes by the end of the year. You know that you've reduced your smoking, so to speak. You just have to be able to look at something and say, I've achieved my goal. Because
mm.
if the goal is not specific and measurable, then how do you know that you've hit it or that you haven't? Papa, we call him Papa, but a lot of people know him as David Oyedepo. He used to say something. He would say that if you don't have a goal, if you don't have a goat, you're a goat, and life will make a scapegoat out of you.
Oh, Chineke. If you don't have a goal, you're a goat.
And then life will make a scapegoat out of you.
But the truth is, goats will just wander around, eating from here. You chase it, it comes back. How there's no lie there. There's no
I
lie
think
there.
this stuff Papa is something else. Anyway, so that being said, we talked about the S. The S is specific. M is measurable. I
Mm,
mean, I'm sure all of us we've probably
yeah,
come across those
smart goals. Yeah.
acronyms at some point. A is attainable. Can I attain it? And
Mm,
remember, we said if you think you can, you can. If you think you can or you can't, you're right.
right.
But you have to believe that you can.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you believe that you cannot, it is not achievable, then don't even bother. It's like, for
Mm,
example, when I was in the bank, I used to work as a marketer in the bank, and they used to give targets at the beginning of the year. Then they will give one. Oh yeah, I did it. Trust me. I'm still wounded. I'm a wounded soldier from my
Jesus, when
days
you
as
call me, I will answer.
as a banker in Nigeria, right? So
Yeah.
anyway, So they will give us this target, and
Mm.
some of them, they could look at you and say, you're going to you should give us 100 million, and you will look at your balance sheet, you are 10 million. So you mean to tell me that I'm supposed to bring 90 million by the end of this month? How is it going to happen, gongon?
Mm.
And that's, do you understand? and
Mm.
and that's the thing. Then it becomes something that normally your goal is supposed to drive you, but when it looks to you as unachievable, then rather than drive you,
It's
it makes
driving
you
you away.
disillusioned. It drives you away.
You're pursuing with speed.
Then the goal will not now agree for you. Do you understand?
I'm
So
telling you. Oh my
you
goodness.
get it. So
Mm.
that's it, right? You make it achievable, something you can do. I mean, if you've been smoking for 10 years, it might be harder
Yeah.
without help for you to
Yeah.
stop it in 1 year. So you want to make it achievable because you've built this habit over
Mm.
time. Now, is it possible for you to stop it in 1 day? Absolutely. It
One day.
is. It
Uh,
is. It is. And I'm not saying some things, but I mean, everything when it comes to goals are about you. You have to know
mm.
what you can or cannot do, right?
Mm.
And take it from there. So the A is achievable. The R is realistic. Is it realistic? And then the
Mhm.
T is time bound. You have to have a timing to it,
Mm. Mm.
then that's how you want to work it out, so that your new year resolution goes from just being a resolve to
Mm.
being smart goals, to being something you are looking to achieve. And then they also say something, and a lot of people, you find psychologists and all say it often, that instead of saying I will not, say I will, because there's something about not in the mind.
Not.
You just, your brain does not. I will
Yeah.
not smoke.
Mm.
Your brain will take out the nuts and just say I will
Not.
smoke. I,
Our brain is
I just
wicked.
think, but you are joking. You must be joking.
Oh my goodness. Mm.
Your brain just literally says it ignores the not and goes for what is. So change it and
Mm.
say, I will reduce the number of sticks I smoke, or I will make it more. I think there's a word here,
Positive.
oriented goal. I think it says
Mm.
approach oriented goals rather than avoidance goal. I will not,
Okay.
I will not be mean to people. Change it
People.
to I will be nicer to
Yeah.
people. Your
Yeah.
brain knows what to do. I
What
will
to
not be
do?
mean. It will just throw out the not, and I'll
Not.
be mean to people. In short, my meanness has just started, so to speak.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. I mean that's really a great conversation from you. The funny part is, do you know that 80% of the New Year resolution, you know, people fail. Guess when? Not
The
even in
best way.
July. No, they fail in February. 80%.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. They actually
And,
finished January. Give it to them. What do you
and
mean?
only 8%, according to research, only 8% would be able to achieve, that goal, because they probably use the smart method, the smart method, because you're measuring it, you're making sure that it's reasonable, right? Like I said, if someone, and I don't know why we keep using smoke, maybe somebody who's smoking is watching right now, maybe you've been smoking for 10 years and you just want to stop abruptly like that, it's going to be really hard. In fact, it's going to be hard even having somebody support you and tell you you can do it and all of that, and you still stop, right? But maybe making it, maybe you smoke a pack a day, which is like, I think 12 sticks. I don't smoke, so I don't know. But maybe like 12 sticks, you finish that in a day. Maybe you can reduce it to like four or something, or five or something. I mean, I'm not a specialist in that. I don't know, but if it's reasonable, you're still taking it. It's just that you're reducing it. You're reducing it gradually and all of that. And it works for every other thing too. You want to start a bakery business,
Mm,
and you don't have, and you've done your estimation and all of that, and it's going to cost you $350,000. Of course,
mm,
you don't have that kind of money. But what about starting from your kitchen and baking stuff
right.
and giving your neighbor and selling that little thing, and just starting little and try it out with people. I have a friend here in the country. She's now she's a big restaurant now. In fact, Spitfire. Her name is Jane. I'm sure you probably know her. You know, she said when she got here, gave birth to her child, I was going to do naming, And they were our mom was here. Our mom was in the country at that time, right? And when they called the caterer said, give them big money. She
Mm.
said, hey. So the mom now said, hey, so we're going to give these people, you know how Nigerians are now, that they will calculate the money in naira because
And
they,
mm-mm,
I
don't
think they
do
just
it.
came. So they're like, so you
Hmm.
mean we're going to give that person the money? The mother said, you know what? Bring that money. Let me go and buy things in the market. So they went to
Mm.
buy things. They cooked it.
Mm.
And, that was how people came and were like, who was the caterer that cooked this food? Ah, it's me. Oh. Who was the caterer that? And that's how she started her business. So
Mm.
she would cook for, even when we came, she didn't even have restaurant. She was cooking from her house. But the whole
Mm.
of Calgary, if I eat her rice now, my wife knows what I'm saying. If I eat her rice now, I would know. There was a day we
Mm.
ate her rice. I brought it home, but I didn't know she was the one that catered for that event. As I do MC now, she wasn't there. So I said, she now ate this. She now, Jane cooked this food. I say it's not
Mm.
Jane. She said Jane
Recognition.
cooked this food. I now taste it. I said, it's true. It tastes like Jane. We now called her. She was laughing. She now said, which party? We now called. She said, hey, now that she just came to drop the food and left. I said, hey, we know that Jane that cooked this food. You get,
Mm.
but she started. If you see her now, she has a big restaurant, and she caters. In fact, we went to one program like 300 kilometers out of, no, not 300, maybe 30 kilometers out of Calgary. She was there. She travels around the whole country cooking. But
Mm.
she didn't start that way.
That's right.
She started really small, cooking for people. People who arrive from Nigeria, she will cook for them. And Jane, if you go to Jane's house and say, Jane, this is your plate of rice. She's looking, she will give you. This one she will say, why are you always giving food? She says, I started by God instructed me to give.
Mm.
And that's just who I am. And that's who she is, right? And and she's blossoming.
Mm.
And it's so apt when Bible says, despite not the little beginning. But we all want to start big, like that's my idea. If I also have like $1 million like this,
Just
everybody will
hammer.
give. Okay, if they give you that 1 million naira, you will fail. You will fail woefully.
Mm.
Woefully. Because guess what? You don't have the capacity to handle. Imagine somebody who started with $300 and in 5 years has built a business of $5 million. That person understands the importance of $5, $300. That person will understand the importance. So even though the person has a 5 million portfolio, whatever dollars right now, but you see, the person will understand the way the trickle down economics, the way that little money adds up to the big one. But you see, if they give you 1 million, it's like the prodigal child. The first thing you're thinking is, let me go and settle all my troubles that I have in my life. Let me go and before you know, that person has bought car, bought houses, bought things, and you're just gallivanting. Like, hey, I still have like 300,000. I can still do my business with that. But
Mm.
you see, that's why it is even better you start small. You build, money comes in, you build, you keep building. You are building capacity also as you are. It's a journey.
Mm. It is. It is.
Like Barcelona will always say, it's like giving your child. You love your child so much, but you can't give him the key. A 7-year-old boy the key to Lamborghini.
You should. You should try it.
It will work, right? So by February, these things are your New Year resolution. Most people have bafuka. Why? Because it's simple. It's basically because it wasn't realistic. It wasn't measurable. So this year, because we're going to round off now. This year, guys, my advice to you is, see that project, start small. You see that I can't I want to do PMP so I can get a job in start.
Mm.
Do it. When I was going to write my own exam, I called the guy. I said, guy, I don't have this $800 that he said. Me, I'll pay you 2 times. The guy said, I don't used to do it, but I'll do it for you. I
Mm.
give you you get. Don't be scared to talk to people. Say, I don't want to think I don't have money. Oga, I don't have the money. It's true.
They're
Oga,
not
I
just
want to.
thinking it is the reality, so
The
why
guy
bother?
said he doesn't do it. I don't do it. But you ask me. I didn't know him before. Someone introduced me to him.
Mm.
I just called him. I just said, Oga, I called his phone. Say this thing, $800 is a big money. Oh. I don't have it, oh, but I want to do this course, and I did it in my past. He said, okay, you know what? We can. and he gave me a plan. So I paid the first one. I think I paid 400 first or 500, and then at the end of the month I paid the balance. So don't allow anything to restrict you. Don't say this cost is 1,000. I don't have 1,000. Even if it's a white person, talk to the person. You see, my mantra is simple. The worst you can say is no. Right? You say no to me, I will go. But guess what? The best the person can say to you too is yes. So your dreams and aspirations will not be cut short because you will
That's right.
achieve that thing and then you move on. You get some of the things that equipment that I bought, they are on loan. This microphone is on loan. It's true. I pay small, small, but before I know it now, I'll finish paying it. Guess what? It has become my property. But I'm not
Mm.
going to say, oh, I can't buy a microphone. Ah, okay, you know what? Let me wait till I have $400 before I do my hero. I will go and find ways that I can achieve it now and achieve it great. So, what's your final word for us, Lami, on this show? It's
I
been
like that drive, and thank you so much. It's just like you said. I mean, you just have to start, and it reminds me of a lady back home in Nigeria and how she started with 1,000. She started a business with 1,000 naira. I mean, it was a big deal. It was a rave, so much so she met Michelle Obama, and that's how big she got.
wow.
Yeah, that's how big she got. So, what am I saying in essence? You have to start. That's that.
Mm,
Just to buttress, you have to start. Give yourself a chance. Permit yourself. You will surprise yourself. There's so much, within, and you have to start where you are with what you have. Thank you.
mm. Thank you. Ah, that was so short and precise. I like that. You will surprise yourself. I've surprised myself a lot too. I have, so but like you said, it's a good thing. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. It's been very interactive. You guys have been dropping comments and all of that. You know how we do it. Friday Night Mix is coming with a big bang this year. Next week we're having an author is gonna be on the show. He's gonna talk about his no, next week is not author, sorry. Next week we have Wumi. Don't worry, we have we have things lined up. We are going to be bringing real estate people too. There's money in real estate. I'm talking to my real estate friends. They are coming on the show. So get ready. Don't enjoy this thing alone. When we say share it, it's always looking like I don't want to share. Let people join us. Let people learn. You know, so it's gonna be myself and Lami on the show. Laura is not able to join the show anymore for now, but she's still a family. She's still welcome to join us anytime. When she can. She had to go do some stuff right now. All right. And that being said, so next week we have Wumi. Wumi is an entrepreneur. She's a dancer. She owns a creative company. She's been doing so well on the in Canada. She's been here for a while. She's doing so well. So she's gonna be on the show next week. She's gonna talk a little bit about the business of art and the business side to it. So maybe somebody's looking at getting into art and
Mm.
creativity and all of that. She's done it for years. She has her own company, Wezo Dance Theater. So she'll be talking to us about that. Then the following week we'll be talking to an author who's also written some books, and Peter Olorundimu. And so we have these things lined up for you. Don't miss it. Don't miss the Friday night mix show. Okay. All right, thank you so much, Lami. So Lami is family now, guys. Anytime you see her on the road, just remind her, like, Lami, Lami. Don't say, hey, sister. Call her name. Her name is Lami or Lami Day. Amen. But Lami for sure. All right, thank you so much, and till we see you again next week. We're just gonna play some video. Let me have some video. Wait, we have 2 minutes to go. I have some video that I have now. I don't even know why I did not play it. I have this rap video. Listen to this rap video. You like it?
Okay.
Bro called me like, what's good? I just seen that you got baptized. I said, yeah, that was me underwater, but my boat never got capsized. I hit reset, I turned that page, had to pack that life. Car, I wanna make real impact, so my kids never have to see trap life. It's different now, they know not to call me for club, I'll stay at the crib. Start my day with a daily devotion, then I plan for another 100 jib. I call Reese, I call Nick. Like, what's really good, my guys? I can see a few new ones in the email. Quick chat, then we hit reply. Now I don't fret too much. I just say one prayer and keep my cool. I don't sweat too much. I read a word if it gets too much. Trust and faith, even at the size of a mustard seed. Man's really gonna move them mountains. Patient, man, I do it with ease. Yeah, Kilimanjaro. Stand tall, you don't know that's me. African boy with God on my side. No long talk, you don't know my steez. Question, who you gonna call on when it gets techie? I stay close to the almighty, I can't let them draw me out when it's petty.
Man, that rap was. I just saw that like, the guy was dropping UG official. That's his name. You can check him out on Instagram. Dropping bars and rhymes. And like, so
Mm-hmm.
that story is a New Year resolution story because he used to go to club and all of that, and now he stopped going to club and all of that, and it's just reading the word. If he's down, he gets himself up with the word of God and he's standing tall like Kilimanjaro. All right. So Lami, till we see you again next week, Friday. It is the Friday Night Mix show. Make sure you call a friend, join us, and have a blissful night.
Thank you. Bye.